Hello, my dear students. Welcome back. We completed the first two lessons in the third unit, didn't we? Yes. Which are those lessons? Yes. The first one is an anecdote, the best investment I ever made. And the second one is a poem, The Ballad of Father Gilligan, written by W.B. Yeats. So, it's time to start the third lesson. The third lesson in our English reader is The Danger of a Single Story. It is a speech by the Nigerian novelist Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Don't you want to know about the speaker? Here is a short description. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She is born on September 15, 1977, is a Nigerian novelist, non-fiction writer and short story writer. She is regarded as the most prominent among young Anglophone authors in African literature. Her works include Purple Hibiscus, Half of a Yellow Sun, and Americana. Hope you have got an idea about Adichie. Now let's read the speech and comprehend the meaning. The danger of a single story. I'm a storyteller, and I would like to tell you a few personal stories about what I like to call the danger of a single story. I grew up on a university campus in eastern Nigeria. My mother says that I started reading at the age of 2, although I think it probably happened when I was 4. So I was an early reader, and what I read were British and American children's books. I was also an early writer, and when I began to write at about the age of 7, stories in pencil with crayon illustrations that my poor mother was obligated to read. I wrote exactly the kinds of stories I was reading. All my characters were white and blue-eyed. They played in the snow, they ate apples, and they talked a lot about the weather. How lovely it was that the sun had come out. But I had never been outside Nigeria. We didn't have snow. We ate mangoes, and we never talked about the weather because there was no need to. Hope you have completed reading. Have you underlined the unfamiliar words? Very good. What do you understand from the first two paragraphs? Try to answer my questions and it will help you to comprehend the text. Here is my first question. What does Adichie like to call her stories? What does Adichie like to call her stories? Right. She likes to call her stories the danger of a single story. She likes to call her stories the danger of a single story. Here's my second question. At what age did Adichie start writing? At what age Adichie start writing? Exact. Adichie started writing at the age of 7. Adichie started writing at the age of 7. Here is the third question. What type of books did Adichie read when she was a child? Yes. Adichie mostly read British and American books. Here is my fourth question. Who were the characters in her early writings? Who were the characters in Adichie's early writings? Absolutely. Characters in her early writings were white and blue-eyed. They played in the snow. They ate apples and they talked a lot about the weather. The book she read had only such people as characters. That's why she had only such people in her early writings. She had never been outside Nigeria. The people in her country didn't talk about weather. They ate mangoes and not apples. Hope you have got a clear idea about the first two paragraphs. You may please read the first two paragraphs silently and try to comprehend the text. Okay, then let's read next paragraph. Paragraph number 3. Shall we? Don't forget to underline the unfamiliar words. What this shows, I think, is how impressionable and vulnerable we are in the face of a story, particularly as children. Because all I had read were books in which characters were foreign. I had become convinced that books, by their very nature, had to have foreigners in them and had to be about things with which I could not personally identify. Now things changed when I discovered African books. There were not many of them available, and they were not quite as easy to find as the foreign books. But when I read Chinua and Camerale, I realized that people like me, girls with a skin the color of chocolate, whose kinky hair could not form ponytails, could also exist in literature. I started to write about things I recognized. I loved the American and British books I read. They stirred my imagination and opened up new worlds for me. But African writers saved me from having a single story of what books are. Have you finished reading? Do you understand what Adichie shared through that paragraphs? Very good. And have you noticed the three words that given in bold letters? Have you noticed that? Yes, the words are impressionable, vulnerable, and kinky. What does each of this word means? What does each of this word means? Yes. The word impressionable means easily influenced or affected by something. And the word vulnerable means weak and easily hurt, physically or emotionally. And the word kinky means curly and around. Here, Adichie used the kinky to represent her hair, the Nigerian people's hair. So, in this paragraphs, Adichie says that we are impressionable and vulnerable in the face of a story. Here is a question. What was Adichie convinced about the nature of books? What was Adichie convinced about the nature of books? Right. She was convinced that books by their very nature had to have foreigners in them, which she could not personally identify. Don't you come across two African writers' names? Who are they? Yes. Chinua HB and camera line. Here is another question for you. What did Adichie realize when she read the books of Chinua HB and camera line? What did Adichie realize when she read the books of Chinua HB and camera line? Exactly. When she read the books of Chinua Achebe and Camera Lee, she realized that people like her, girls with a skin the color of chocolate, whose kinky hair could not form ponytails, could also exist in literature. Here you can see the pictures of kinky hair and ponytail. Here is another question for you. How did American and British books help Adichie in her writing? How did American and British books help her? Yes. The American and British books stirred her imagination and opened up new worlds for her. The African writers also helped Adichie. How did African writers help her? Yes. They saved her from having a single story of what books are. So, in this video, we discussed the first three paragraphs of the speech, the danger of a single story. Let's discuss the rest of the paragraphs in the next video. Goodbye.